Yes, Grenada, Carrico, Peter Mondic, and the rest of the world, I'd like to welcome you to another Mikey Life program. People, this is where it all happens. We're talking about the good, the bad, and the Mikey. We want to welcome everybody on cable. We've got WPG10 live. Of course, we are always happy to have the folks watching on WPG10. That is channels 10 and 11 on cable. So welcome to the program. I know so many of you really wanted this, so of course we are happy to have them as well. The folks on YouTube, welcome, and our Facebook viewers, people, yeah man, big up all your whole self. Now folks, we have a lot to tell you about. This is news discussed, not told. You are going to be hearing things and seeing things here that you have not heard and seen anywhere else. We don't have a horse in the race, so we tell you as it is. Yeah, unbiased. Yeah, and factual. Creative house do it best. They are the ones who decorated our set, and and we always want to say thank you to them for that. You never know, I might have a dancing Santa Claus by next week. You never know, you understand? Yeah, so yeah, we good. So earlier in the headlines, we lost one of our viewers today, boy. You know, tough one, boy. Andre Lewis. He's the president of the Technical and Allied Workers Union. He says the government's new proposal is worse than the first. Telling me no major injuries following Carrico crash. We're going to talk about that as well. And the Scotiabank sale really worries Labour Senator. We could talk about that too. We were telling earlier about a story about a youth, 13 years old in Trinidad, who was missing and then he was found dead. They say he was burgled. I ain't making it up. They say he was burgled. You know what I mean? 13 years ago, people. We could tell you about it. And then the situation in St. Lucia where a young man was left to die as villagers recorded and did nothing about it. We're going to tell you about the reaction of his family members. And we have a lot of other things to tell you about. So we really want you to, stay on to Mikey Live. And for the new viewers, for the first timers, we want to say welcome to the business. This is news discussed, not told. And when you see we come back, it's real news in Olili Lolo. Now we want to remind you that tonight's headlines was brought to you through the kind compliments of Duty Free Caribbean and the Colombian Emeralds International and the WPG10. We'll be back in a moment.
And so it begins, a journey like no other. Jungles so lush, they make emeralds jealous. Water that sparkles like diamonds. Mountains with more facets than precious gems. This is where good times are had, where love is strengthened, where memories are formed. And when it all comes to an end, bring home something that will never fade. Colombian Emeralds International. Bring home more than a memory.
Grenada, get ready for the biggest soca parang extravaganza on Saturday, December 15th at the Last Just Hard Court in St. David. It's that time of the year when parang takes full control, featuring Kingman and Channel.
I don't know.
Live and direct straight out of Trinidad, Impulse.
This Christmas I passed by Cammy. She was so happy.
And Prince Unique. Along with Grenada's finest, Steve Theodore, Otis, and the big parang band from Carriacou. Backing band is none other than the Cutting Edge Band. Advance tickets cost only $40, while meat and seafood available. Showtime 9 p.m. It's the biggest soca parang extravaganza. Saturday, December 15th. Las Just Hardcore.
I want to get a new dining set for my mommy and daddy because we could all eat dinner together. I want to get mommy a new chair because it's so beautiful. Santa, can I go now?
True Masqueraders presents the Johnny Walker Black Face Off 13. Friday, December 21st, the Spice Basket comes alive from 10 p.m. Get your masks on entry. Early bird general tickets $50, regular tickets $60, and early bird VIP premium all-inclusive $250. Regular price $300. Shuttle service from the Melville Street Bus Terminal. Dress code elegant. You must wear black. From Trinidad and Tobago, Patrice Roberts. Team Chaos featuring Naldo and DJ Quinn. Also, Grenada's finest featuring Wasway. Flash. Vaughn. Your DJs, Ice Cool, DJ Danny, and Kevlatone International. Tickets available at Grenadian Optical Town and Spiceland Mall, Heather's Boutique, Anke's Computer, Mitchell's Health and Wellness, Grenada To Go at Maurice Bishop International Airport, St. Andrew's Pharmacy, and Go To Fed. This event is sponsored by Johnny Walker Black, Smirnoff Vodka, Stag, A Man's Bear, Mount Gay Rum, Campari, True Blue Bay Boutique Resort, Leslie Shipping Agency, Grenada To Go, Specialized Automotive, Mitchell's Health and Wellness, Video Moments, Waggy T Rental and Sound Company, We FM Radio, Angie's Computer, Go To Fed, and On The Spot Hardware. The biggest event to touch down this December in Grenada. True Masqueraders presents Face Off 13. You must wear black.
Experience convenient and affordable learning with online and blended higher education programs from the UWI Open Campus. Access our quality-assured degrees, diplomas, and continuing and professional education programs at a pace designed to suit your lifestyle. Ask about our prior learning assessment, which credits previous learning experience and fast-tracks the completion of your degree. Own your future. Apply today. For more information, visit www.open.uwi.edu. The UWI Open Campus, opening doors to life-changing learning.
Replace. Yes, all right. So, folks, we're back with you now. Thank you for being here with us again. And I think that we are now ready to get into some real news for today. Now, the first thing that we have to tell all you about, boy, is the under 20 boys division quarterfinals for the Republic Bank Right Start. You know, we want to tell you everything about it. Now, the Republic Bank Right Start Cup Youth Football Tournament under 20 boys quarterfinals were confirmed following the final round of preliminary matches held on Tuesday, December 4th. Now, Sean Clark and Chisa Klein, I hope I pronounced that one right there, sealed a 2-0 victory for St. Andrew Anglican Secondary School SAS over St. John's Christian Secondary School. All right, now the other three under 20 boys preliminary matches saw St. David's Catholic Secondary School and the Happy Hill Secondary School winning by default, and that was due to their opponents being a no-show. The game between the Presentation Brothers College and the Grenada Boys Secondary School was abandoned. Now, the preliminary round concluded with the following 8 teams advancing to the quarterfinals scheduled for this Thursday and Friday. St. Andrew Anglican Secondary School, St. John Christian Secondary School, St. Mark Secondary School, the Grenada Boys Secondary School, Happy Hill Secondary School, Wesley College, St. David's Catholic Secondary School, and the defending champions, McDonald's College. And for the fixtures. Let me just throw that up on your screen quickly so that you can see the fixtures. All right, so on Thursday, St. David's Catholic Secondary School is going to play at Progress Park. Okay, and they are going to be going up against the St. Andrew Anglican Secondary School, SAS, at 1 p.m. And on Friday, we have Wesley College versus St. John's Christian Secondary School at Cuthbert Peters Park. And that's going to be at 1 p.m. Then we have St. Mark's Secondary School versus Happy Hill Secondary, Buseju Plainfield, and McDonald's College versus the Grenada Boys Secondary School at the Roy St. John Plainfield. Now that's it for us. And the next thing that we have to tell all you about, boy. Today, we lost one of our members. We're talking about one of the persons who is always on our live. That's the daughter of Dale Neptune, who is also a follower of our program. This young lady's name is Stacy, but on the program she commented as Kiss Neptune. You know, I was informed by her mom today that she passed away. Now, she had been battling with lupus for a considerable amount of time, and she lost the fight against this ailment, you know. And so I just want to, on behalf of the entire Mikey Live family, the viewers, and those of us who stay closely knit, you know, we always, even after the program, communicate and, you know, talk about ways in which we can improve the program. So on behalf of all, you know, we have to express our condolence to the Neptune family, to Dale Neptune, and to the sisters and the other family members of Kiss. Of course, her comments and presence on the program will be greatly missed, and we are really sorry to hear about her passing. All right, the next story that we have to tell you about, boy, as we move on. All right, there was a crash in Karaoke today. However, we are able to see that luckily there has been no major injuries reported from this crash. So at least we are happy to hear that, you know. There's been a lot of crashes lately, and it's just been, I mean, it's been a lot. Yeah, so in this one, I thought I had the picture prepared for you, but I'm not seeing it here, so we're just going to move on, right? In this one from Karaku, at least the occupants didn't suffer, according to reports, any major injury. All right, we are moving on. How are we looking for time? The incident, by the way, happened in Leicester. All right. The sale of Scotiabank, or the acquisition of Scotiabank by the Republic Bank, has been a very topical issue, not only in Grenada but in other Caribbean islands. We heard from the Antiguan Prime Minister, who said that, hey, hold on, mash your brakes a bit. Government must take a look at this first. Yeah, government must take a look at this first. We had also issues in Guyana. The leadership there is saying, hey, that can't just happen like that. That's going to cause some discomfort. So they need to take a closer look at the acquisition. Here in Grenada, the Prime Minister, Dr. Mitchell, said that, hey, he welcomed the move. But hold on. We have Senator Andre Lewis, who's also the head of the Technical and Allied Workers Union, today addressing this issue. Listen to this.
I want to start off, Mr. Deputy President, by addressing some uncertainties at the moment, and it has to do with job losses. Because as we speak, my heart goes out, my concern goes out to the workers from Bancroft, Nova Scotia. I'm aware that the government of Grenada, through our Prime Minister, has welcomed the takeover or the buying over of Scotia by Republic. I'm aware that other people in the country have seen this as a positive move. But that's when you look at numbers. But when you look at human beings, colleagues, senators, I held a meeting on Monday afternoon with these workers. We represent them. And I hear all these things about the economy. Human beings are who we are here to serve. And it's not about numbers and what is printed. At the end of the day, it has to be translated into something. And therefore, I would have preferred to have heard a response from the government which empathizes with the possible fallout that will come on these workers. It has become too much of a routine exercise for me to be visiting workplaces, to be speaking to workers about job losses. Be it in cable and wireless, that has moved from over 200 workers to under 10 workers. While at the same time, we recognize the quality of services that we are having. And while at the same time, let me address it, that with the taking over or the buying over of Columbus Communication, so you have Heritage Cable and Wireless workers, and you have Heritage Columbus workers, Flow, doing the same job in the same space, but the company is arguing that it is two different companies and paying them different wages. And as we fight for it, and you don't hear much about it, so when you hear us on pension, it means that it is deep and big. We represent thousands of workers in this country. How many times have you heard us hit in the streets on matters? So it shows the importance and significance of our level of responsibility that causes us to take certain measures in advancing the cause of the workers that we represent. So in cable and wireless, for instance, and I made a commitment to the company that even if the owner sits in Miami or they sits in London or they sits in wherever, I will expose it. It is just unfair. You can't have a worker, Heritage Cable and Wireless worker, making almost twice or 1/3 more the salary of a worker who is even probably more highly trained, because the platform that Cable and Wireless is using right now is significantly from Columbus Communication. So I'm just putting this on the table. Yes, I'm putting this on the table. I'm putting the Scotia experience on the table. So in Antigua, for instance, we have Prime Minister Gaston Brown saying, hold on, Republic, hold on, Scotia, march bricks, not so fast. At the end of the day, it may happen. But what it demonstrates is this Prime Minister's understanding, likewise in Guyana, of the implications for the worker who has a family, for the worker whose family, after being informed that in 6 months' time, someone who has made a career in banking does not know what will happen to them. And this child would have to be psychologically prepared. And that's the discussion that we had with the workers. I have been doing that to regular colleagues. I would like to hear the government, in other words, make pronouncements on these issues rather than welcoming it. Because when you buy over on your merge, and I buy the argument that it is Republic, it is regional, right? But I've also heard the argument that Republic may be positioning itself for takeover by another entity.
All right, thank you very much, sir, on that. And it was, you know, he took some time to explain this. All right, now, on the proposal made by government to the trade unions, pension reform, with the whole issue of gratuity, Senator Andre Lewis said that the new proposal is worse than the first proposal. He also today revealed some never before information that he has not spoken about before in the public like that, relating to talks with the government and the private sector regarding the same 25% gratuity. You understand? And some interesting things were said. Now listen to this.
That I want to highlight that there are some firsts that have taken place here. And as Labour continues to work with the government, and as we try to get through this difficult period, it is a difficult period. It's a difficult period for all of us. But that's what makes strong people. Yes? We are resilient people. And I'm absolutely certain that we can find a solution. Although the letter yesterday from government in terms of its proposal, and I'm not going to go into the detail, is worse than what was offered before. Yeah, I'll mention it. I'm not going into the details because the nation was asking. Okay, remember we mentioned publicly that we expected to get something from government. So I'm not going to, we're going to sort that out on the table, right? Because yesterday, although Senator Steele, to his credit, said that, look, I'm not going to go into the pension matter because I don't want to prejudice anything. But my good colleague here, Senator Kim George and her, right, spent a long time going into the legal arguments, right? But that's okay because we have experienced the following. It is the first government, and that is not a good record. We have fought many battles over the years. Mr. Deputy President, I've fought fire with this government, not as a political organization, but as an employer in the early 2000s and the late 90s. I remember when the current president of the Senate, when his house was invaded by ministers, when they threw rotten meat in his house, in his yards, when his family were assaulted. I remember those days. And I thought we had gone past those days. But here what has happened. I have witnessed, for the first time, an attempt to muzzle the labor movement by going to take out an injunction, opening the court on a Saturday. And I dare tell you, it is our constitutional right to withdraw our labor. We also do that responsibly. Right? I'll be happy to lead. I'll be happy to lead that charge. But we can avoid that. I'm glad it was lifted, yes, in my view, because all we wanted to do was come to the table. And in making that point, the private sector and the Conference of Churches, and I'm going to go there because I think the public needs to know, I said so publicly, held a meeting with the Prime Minister on a Saturday morning and was assured by the Prime Minister that the government accepts 25%. So I'm recording it in the Hansard because I did so publicly. But what the government is concerned about is how would the 25% be paid in different permutations. I have confidence in the private sector and the Conference of Churches. We asked them over and over, are you sure? They said yes. We said yes, that will bring us back to the table. Up to now, we still are waiting on this. Yes? We have had that. So in other words, the Prime Minister met the Conference of Churches. Let me say that we will continue on the table. These are historical facts I need to address, that these things are bandied around. The Prime Minister met with the Conference of Churches and the private sector, gave them that commitment. And we are yet to receive this.
Yes, and a lot more things were said, but of course time doesn't permit us to say much more on this. You understand? And so on Friday, we would have a better appreciation for what the argument, where the argument has gone, where the discussion, okay, let me take that back, not argument, where the discussion has gone. Because there's an indication that on the surface of things, the trade unions are not happy with what was proposed. We know that yesterday was the deadline. Yesterday was Tuesday. Yesterday was the deadline for the government to present that proposal, give the trade unions a moment to take a look at it. And then following that, on Friday, they are going to go up to the negotiating table. And so already they are saying it's worst. Where do we go from here? Time will tell. We had also Senator Winston Garraway addressing the issue. And he was saying that the trade unions are going after one of the most vulnerable sectors of our society, or sorry, one of the most vulnerable groups in our society, which is the young people, the children. See, if you like crying, it's a lot of things he said. Winston Garraway, we will give all of that in a moment. We're trying to get it out, sort it out. You understand? But now the conversation continues. There are people calling on the radio stations, calling on the TV stations, expressing disappointment in the union. You know, some people are surprised that people are expressing disappointment in the union. Why? They are fighting a just cause. Why are you disappointed? Yeah, some people are happy with the government's position on the matter, and some people aren't. There are a lot of talks about the Prime Minister and how he is handling the current situation. You know, but folks, all I could say, time will tell. So we have a little something for you from Mr. Winston Garraway. I just want to make sure that we got it right. Yes, who spoke on the issue, and he's encouraging the unions to have second thought, to reconsider the manner in which they have decided to protest against the government, saying that the children are the ones who are not going to benefit. The children are the ones who are being disadvantaged as a result of that. He also spoke about the work to rule, in which the duty presented to its members in terms of how they will proceed with their work moving forward. All right, and just in the interest of time, we will not play that part where the senator spoke of this, but of course, at least we will just briefly tell you what the work to rule is. It is where, before we play that clip from the senator, right? It is where the unions have decided that they are not going to be doing, or they are going to advise their members to not do more than is required. Just go ahead and do the basics as is on your screen. I know that some of you are able to see what's there. No participation in extracurricular activities or assists with school clubs and organizations. No fundraisers. No participation in sporting activities except for coaches and or games teachers, because it is their paid responsibilities. No marking of SBAs and CPEA projects. According to the document, it says that these should be boxed and sent to the employer. Arrive at work 15 minutes before commencement and leave work 30 minutes after every day. And it ends by saying no exception to this one. No Christmas parties for children except where it is catered and must end no later than half hour after school. No buying of school supplies, toiletries and other materials, and from personal funds. They are claiming that some of the things that are bought for the schools are done so from personal funds. It also goes on to say that please let the cooks, cleaners, and ancillary staff do their work. Do not disturb them by trying to help. And they're also saying as well, no repairs of school furniture. And that's what they called the work to rule. And they have published a fact sheet on that. It says here that remember, you do what you must and nothing more. Now that was presented by Senator Andre Lewis today. And Senator Winston Garraway went through it as well, saying this is what you're gonna do. That's him, eh? That's him. Saying, listen, I feel like crying. You understand? Some people are saying that this is necessary so that the teacher's plight can be taken seriously. Whereas the senator is arguing, but hey, but to what end? Who stands to lose from this? Is it the government? Is it the teachers? Is it the students? Who stands to lose from this? But all we know, folks, as we wrap up this part of it, that it's a situation that has to be fixed. Ain't no if, no but, no maybe. It has to be fixed, and fixed soon. But the worry is, the Labour senator is saying that the new proposal is worse than the first. That's the worry. Huh? It's worse than the first. So anyway, let's see what's going to take place. As I told you, we had Senator Garraway speaking of this.
He read from Mr. Deputy President. I saw the release from the GUT, work to rule, advising the employees. I want to say, or his members, that the president of the GUT has declared war on the students of this country. I think I need a table knock for that. He has declared war. And all that the member there read a while ago, Mr. Deputy President, is an indication that you have lost a battle with your adults. And now, the smallest pawn in the fray, you're going to go after them. How? It's painful, very painful, that you will decide that the easiest target you will go after our children, our defenseless children who cannot stand up to you. Fight it out with the Pension Engagement Committee and the government. But by all means, please leave our children alone. Give them an opportunity to develop and to... You talk about going and study and coming out from university with your degrees and so forth. Why are you preventing those children from being developed so that they can get to that stage as yourself? It brings tears to my eyes because I think we have lost our way. When we could attack defenseless children, and what did he say? No participation in extracurricular activities to assess or assist with school clubs or organization. So I guess as much, Brother Campbell, no 4-H activities. And you eloquently spoke so much about agriculture and the need for us to do more. But the teachers saying, we're going to shut down that. No fundraisers. No participation in sporting activities except for coaches because they've been paid to do that.
And of course, he went on to go through all the others and speak about it, all right? But in the interest of time, we will not be able to do the entire presentation with regards to that issue. We are moving on. Last evening, some of all didn't share the program yet. No, go ahead and share the thing, man. Last evening, we told you about a situation where a young man was killed, right, in St. Lucia. The young man was killed in St. Lucia, stabbed a couple times, right? He was stabbed a couple times, and onlookers stayed there and did nothing about it. Now, there's a little fallout relating to the video that was posted on social media, and people could have heard him pleading for help, but to no avail. asking his neighbors for some sort of assistance. Blood flowing through his wounds. No help. We told you that yesterday. Here's an update to that.
Relatives of 18-year-old Desroy President, who was allegedly killed in a Bruceville street fight in Vieux-Fort on November 30th, are convinced his death could have been avoided. President was captured on cell phone video by onlookers in the moments after the attack. His desperate pleas to those looking on for help during the more than 90-second video, now viral on social media, seemed to have went unheeded. Speaking to News Force on December 4th, President's family described the apparent lack of assistance as heartbreaking.
I never knew that we had so many enemies in our environment, the place we live in. I didn't know people had it so much, because I mean, to see my brother on the ground asking for help, telling them to squeeze the thing for him. I mean, so much. You hear how many people in the video talking, people that I know, those that I don't know of, his friends, like his enemies, everybody, they're watching him, and nobody didn't do anything. And I am very heartbroken because of that.
Despite frantic appeals to call for an ambulance, News Force understands the fire service did not arrive at the scene on time.
He was conveyed to the St. Jude Hospital via private means, where he was pronounced dead by a medical practitioner.
Police have not disclosed a motive behind President's stabbing. His family are refuting what they say are rumors surrounding Desroy President's lifestyle.
Next news on News Online or whatever saying he's unemployed. Unemployed has nothing to do with that. He being murdered, the unemployed have nothing to do with that. When they say he's unemployed, making the public look like he went and steal and then somebody ended up stabbing him, it didn't happen like that. He was murdered.
Acting on information related to the Bruceville stabbing, police officers have detained one person who is now assisting with investigations. Rihani Isidore, HTS News Force.
Thank you very much, Rihani. And we just want to take a quick transition over to our neighbors in Trinidad and Tobago, where we're going to quickly tell you about this boy that we told you about last night, who was missing and then subsequently found dead by police. Now, what we're understanding based on a report coming from the Trinidad Guardian is that an autopsy revealed that he was burgled. 13 years old, you know. They said it confirmed that he was burgled and strangled to death. Now there's one report that refuted that he was actually strangled to death, but that's another story. But they are saying that he was burgled. So they are saying that they had arrested two suspects, ages 36 and 16, in connection with his death. You understand? Would you imagine that, people? Burgled, you know what I mean? I didn't have to go to. I ain't going to that. Just telling all you. A 13-year-old? Well, I never hear that yet. A 13-year-old boy, you know. Oh boy. So let me leave that talk there. Then there's another story. There's another story. I just quickly go into it. A 45-year-old man who was arrested last week in connection with the sexual assault of another man. They say he's in police custody while investigations continue at Trinidad again. So they say that the investigations will be completed sometime this week. Last Tuesday, a man was arrested. He's actually from Movat, after a 23-year-old Arima man was held at knife point. They took him somewhere in Sangre Grande and raped him. Watch now, let me read that story there. Rape. What, boy? That's how Jerry come, you know. That's how Jerry come. I'll leave in that story alone. I'll leave in that one alone. Yesterday we told you, we just want to follow up on some of the stories that we told you about. You know, we don't just want to drop it on you and then don't give you no follow-up. Remember we told you about the mother of 3 who was supposed to go to court because she killed her husband, who they say was beat up. So actually, she was in court, and you know what, people? She was remanded to prison. Understand? They said, well, listen, morning, noon, and night, tea, breakfast, dinner. That woman getting licks from that man. But listen to this.
Tears streaming down her face, 25-year-old Melissa Plater stood before Magistrate Alicia George, charged with the murder of Victor Roberts, her reputed husband, who she allegedly stabbed to death on Sunday last. It is alleged that the incident occurred on December 2, 2018 at the couple's Lot 41 Prince William Street, Pleasance, East Coast, Demerara home. Roberts died from a wound to the left side chest. The mother of three did not have legal representation and was remanded to prison until January 17, 2019. Roberts was the father of one of the suspect's 3 children, and they managed a grocery store in the lower flat of the apartment building. Police reported that the couple was involved in a heated argument at the home when Plater allegedly stabbed the man once in the left side chest with a knife. Residents in the area told the newsroom that the woman suffered years of physical abuse at the hands of the man, and it was no different on the day in question. Residents claimed that the accused was merely defending herself when the incident occurred. Bibi Katoon, Newsroom.
Thank you very much. And folks, one of the other stories that I want to tell you about, boy, a groundbreaking development, okay, with regards to how babies can be born, right? Brazilian doctors are reporting the world's first baby born to a woman with a uterus transplanted from a deceased donor. They say that 11 previous births have used a transplanted womb, but from a living donor, usually a relative or friend. Now, experts said using uteruses from women who have died could make more transplants possible. They say that 10 previous attempts using deceased donors in the Czech Republic, Turkey, and the United States have failed. They say that a baby girl was delivered last December by a woman born without a uterus because of a rare syndrome. The woman, a 32-year-old psychologist, was initially apprehensive about the transplant. You understand? And they went ahead and they do it. They said that this was the most important thing in her life, you know. They said that she came in and she showed the baby, and she is so happy. So things are right. You understand? So there are a lot of things that can be possible as a result of this. You understand? Yeah, don't make all the mind go wild. Yeah, take all the time. Yeah, understand? Take all the time. Some of all the thinking, take all the time. Take all the time. But anyway, that's an interesting one. A lady called me and she said in Grenada here, something happened to her baby. Her baby died, and in addition to that, they removed her uterus, and all she wanted was a baby. You know, she's saying she's crying foul. She say it could be as a result of malpractice. Another woman yesterday met me and she said, Mikey, I begged for my baby. I was in so much pain. My baby lasted 5 minutes on this earth and died, and she's looking to take the matter to court. You understand? I met her in town yesterday, and you know, all stories have sides, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying. You understand? But anyway, that's a story I'm just working on. I'll tell all you about it in due time. You understand? But folks, there are a lot more things that we have to tell all you about. But look at time. Why it is? Why we had to stretch that program. Like we got to extend the Mikey Live, and a big up Hamlet Mac and the folks out there on WPG10. Here's what we're going to come back. We've got a national report to come in a moment.
Experience convenient and affordable learning with online and blended higher education programs from the UWI Open Campus. Access our quality assured degrees, diplomas, and continuing and professional education programs at a pace designed to suit your lifestyle. Ask about our prior learning assessment, which credits previous learning experience and fast tracks the completion of your degree. Own your future. Apply today. For more information, visit www.open.uwi.edu. The UWI Open Campus, opening doors to life-changing learning.
Replace, upgrade, or treat yourself to something new. Yes, you can with Quartz Ready Finance. Shop today and pay nothing until March 2019. Low monthly payments, flexible terms, and the assurance that your payments are protected against unforeseen events. Get what you need now with nothing down. Yes, you can with Quartz Ready Finance. Quartz, bringing value home.
Grenada, get ready for the biggest soca parang extravaganza on Saturday, December 15th at Las Just Hard Court in St. David. It's that time of the year when parang takes full control, featuring Kingman and Channel.
I don't know this year.
Live and direct straight out of Trinidad, Impulse.
This Christmas I passed by Cammy, she was so happy.
And Prince Unique. Along with Grenada's finest, Steve Theodore, Otis, and the Big Parang Band from Carriacou. Backing band is none other than the Cutting Edge Band. Advance tickets cost only $40. Wild meat and seafood available. Showtime 9 p.m. It's the biggest soca parang extravaganza. Saturday, December 15th. Las Just Hardcore.
Yes, alright. So that one gonna be nice, alright, people. You gotta show your face and attend the business because it could be nice. Alright, so folks, before we go to the national report, we have to tell you about this one here. We're talking about the health fair that's gonna be happening in Grenville. Alright, and that's gonna be taking place tomorrow, God's willing. Yes, so I've been asking you guys to go to this, make sure always show up at this, alright? Tomorrow, God's willing, Wade's Optical Limited, they're having free blood pressure tests, free eye pressure tests, they're going to be having allergists as well, free blood sugar testing, free eye test, you just name it, real free thing. You understand? Go there, it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning and it goes until 3 p.m. So all you attend the business, it will be good. Alright, and you know, a lot of auditors complain about this and complain about that. You're getting a chance to get yourself checked absolutely free. Alright, things like glaucoma and those kind of things, that'll plain people. Don't wait until you start losing eyesight to visit the doctor. To visit, you know, you're getting free tests. Take it. You understand? Take it. Alright, folks, so what we're gonna do for you right now is give you the national report.
Grenada receives first tranche of funds for conservation activities under the Caribbean Challenge Initiative. Details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Wednesday, December 5th, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. Grenada has received its first tranche of $45,000 for conservation activities under the Caribbean Challenge Initiative. That announcement by Senator the Honorable Dr. Winston Garwe, Minister with Responsibility for Disaster Management and Information. The Caribbean Challenge Initiative is a coalition of governments, private sector companies, civil society and development partners working together to accelerate action on the marine and coastal environment. The aim, as evidenced under the CCI 20 by 20 initiative, is to protect and sustainably manage 20% of the Caribbean's marine and coastal ecosystems by the year 2020. During his contribution to the 2019 budget, Senator Garwe said this bears testimony to Grenada's efforts to protect its environment.
What does this mean? It's a clear demonstration that we only talk the talk, but we walk the talk. A lot being said that we are not so concerned about saving the environment. Far from that. This is a demonstration for us to receive the first tranche of 4. So we're talking about some 180,000 US dollars, close to 500,000 EC dollars, towards ensuring that service clubs, projects of whatever kind and magnitude will be financed towards protecting or enhancing our conservation practices within Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. This is significant, Mr. President, because there is this perception from some in various quarters that we don't care about the environment. Far from the truth. Grenada has been heralded as a leader within small states in protecting our environment. Grenada has been recognized internationally as a forerunner, and we will continue to do this. And it will bear fruits as we see more grant funding coming to this country, because this government is serious about the development of this economy.
Minister for Youth, Sports, Culture and the Arts Senator, the Honourable Nolan Cox, is urging young people to see the benefits of the Youth in Agriculture project, which is designed to address youth unemployment and an ageing population in the agriculture sector. Making his contribution to the 2019 budget on Tuesday, Senator Cox said the agriculture sector can make a significant contribution to the local economy once marketed and done right. The program is designed to encourage young people to see agriculture as a career, thereby contributing to greater sustainability in the sector.
We cannot sit by and not do something, because what you find happening and what we see happening in terms of the trends, and which has been mentioned here, is that imports are increasing. And the reason why imports are increasing is because for a strong economy in terms of economic activity, people have more spending power, and the demand for goods and services are increasing. And if you're not prepared to take advantage of those opportunities, then you will find yourself having persons, not just only goods coming in, but maybe even farmers coming in. That may happen next. Mr. President, when I see a message come on my cell phone saying that creative design, looking for carpenters, plumbers, any among it open, that tells you something, Mr. President. It tells you the demand for jobs and skilled jobs is very high, and which means that we have work to do. And if we do not pay attention to those indicators, we will be under serious threat in terms of those jobs opportunities. Mr. President, we just had the commission of Silver Sands, and the Department of Labor can tell you the amount of work permits that had to be granted for specialized persons to come in. Those are opportunities that we missed out on. So, Mr. President, it is within that context that the Youth in Agriculture project is being constructed.
Technical and material assistance will be provided to young persons with an interest in agribusiness. The Youth in Agriculture project will focus on agribusiness training and certification, as well as youth entrepreneurship and microfinancing, among others.
Market access for young farmers, Mr. President. Agro-processing, agriculture extension services. We believe through this project we can develop a new crop of young extension farmers. I know that the member representing the farmers here this evening, that is an area of concern for him. The extension work, the technical capacity, that support can be done through the Youth Agriculture Program. Access to agricultural lands, climate smart agriculture, Mr. President, a National Young Farmers Association, Mr. President. These are also a National Young Farmers Festival. We give an opportunity to display their products and production initiatives, Mr. President. So these are the main thematic areas in which the Youth in Agriculture program is going to be focusing on.
This is the National Report. More news after the break. Continuing the news, the government of Grenada will be rolling out a number of ambitious projects next year designed to address water challenges and save money on electricity. One of them is a $125 million project that will speak to some of the hurdles experienced in the country's water sector. Plans for this were outlined on Tuesday by Senator Simon Steele, leader of government business in the Senate.
This project, Mr. President, will address through increasing our ability to capture rainfall, to store water in the north where it is produced, and then to distribute that throughout the country, especially to the south where it has the greatest demand. What is significant about this project is a $125 million project, the most significant portion of which is grant funded both through the Green Climate Fund and the government of Germany, plus contributions from Grenada. But through the implementation of this project, it will create opportunities for many of our workers. It's a significant infrastructural project. And the project is expected to start at the end of the first quarter of this year. Contract negotiations are being completed as we speak.
Another is the public street lighting project, which is expected to save the government a substantial amount of money when it becomes a reality.
Proposals are being developed right now with UN Environment, support from the Caribbean Development Bank, the GCF, and GRENLEC, which will look at replacing sodium public bulbs in the public lights, which are highly consumptive of electricity. This project would expect to reduce our electricity consumption for public lighting by in the region of 60%. Our public lighting bill is somewhere in the region of $7 or $8 million a year, so that will provide significant savings for government.
Celebrating the potential of the region's coconut industry, that was the theme used at the open day session of the Caribbean Agriculture and Research Development Institute, CARDI, working with the Ministry of Agriculture and Climate Resilience on Wednesday at the National Stadium. Updating and informing stakeholders and the public on CARDI's activities over the past year and plans and programs for the upcoming year was the objective of the event. The coconut industry and its economic impact was the primary focus of the 2018 CARDI Open Day. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Elvis Moraine, emphasized the need for more research and database collection to become a priority in the agriculture sector.
The ministry's stronger collaboration going forward with CARDI. You'd have heard Dr. Doughton mention the issue of research and development. It is something that the ministry wants to put a lot of emphasis on. As a matter of fact, we cannot go forward in this dynamic global village thinking about agriculture without employing some research practice. We've begun the discussion of making Maribo a premier station for research and development.
CARDI's representative in Grenada, Mr. Reginald Andel, said that CARDI is an organization that believes in ensuring that Grenada benefits from the programs and projects offered by the organization. Mr. Andel also spoke about the need to invest heavily in the coconut industry.
As one of the speakers has said, coconuts is one of the it's an industry in Grenada which since Ivan, and not just in Grenada, well in Grenada, mainly because of Ivan and a number of other things like disease and so on, coconut production and the industry at large has dwindled. For example, one may remember we used to make soaps in Grenada from coconut. There was the copper factory and so on, making soaps right there in Tempe. That entity no longer exists. You see, that is just a reflection of the downslide of the coconut industry in Grenada, and not just in Grenada, but across the region. But also, even apart from coconuts and from other products, and many different products, for the health benefits, for the industrial and agricultural development benefits, agricultural entities have been recognizing the importance of these industries, and coconut is one of them. So coconuts for its health benefits, coconuts for its contribution to other things like beauty products and so on, for health in terms of fighting of cancers and so forth. We are recognizing these things, and hence we are trying to put that focus on coconuts. We are trying to help develop the coconut industry across the Caribbean.
And that's the National Report. I am Leslie Ann Johnson.
Thank you very much, Leslie Ann, for that. And we big up to all the people who are still on the live, or the National Report in all lily low. You know what I mean? Yes, I. So what we have, we want to big up some of the people on the live. We're working on some very interesting stories again, as usual. You know, every day we try to make sure that we give you some very interesting stories, so you could look forward to that. What I'm trying to get for you now, let's see what the weather is going to look like. All right, it's been getting very chilly, so sometimes you get a little chillier than not normal, especially when it's in December. Once it starts getting later in December, you would find that it will get more and more chilly. All right, so this is a look at least what things are going to look like for tonight and the rest of the week in terms of just overall. Okay, but let me see what tomorrow is going to be like. Tomorrow is Thursday, right? Tomorrow's sun is expected to rise tomorrow at 6:15 a.m. and set at 5:42. The weather is expected to be mostly fair with a low chance of some brief afternoon showers. Okay, so winds are expected to be about be northeasterly to easterly at 5 to 15 miles per hour, and variable to calm at times. Seas moderate, waves up to 6 feet in open water. There will be no marine advisory. All right. For tonight, there's a small craft advisory that currently is in effect, and winds for tonight east northeasterly to east southeasterly at 13 to 23 miles per hour, gusting higher with showers. All right. Okay, so that's the weather for us, and that's where we're going to start wrapping things up for today. Before we wrap up, I think I would just want to say hello to some people who are currently tuning on the program. Let's see who's there. First off, I want to say hello to all the viewers on WPG10 right now. Of course, you know how much we appreciate you. We appreciate you greatly. All right, so again, all the WPG viewers, big up your whole status. All right, we're saying hello to Irma, Esther, Nika, Ezran, Adore, Zaka, Sally. Who else we have with us tonight? We have Doria, we have Khadija, we have Suzette, we have Deslin, we have my sister Mikey. When you say your sister, please say AKA Sweetness Vibes, whatever. Adore, Lorraine, how are you? And Kirin is with us as well. We have Osric with us. We have Ala. We have Nika. And the usual suspects, people. We want to say thank you again for making it another Mikey Live program, all right? And we are looking forward to having all of you here with us tomorrow, God's willing. And of course, with the death of one of our viewers, of course, it tells us that life is not guaranteed, you know? And that we should at least try to live each day as if it were our last. I think with a philosophy like that, it would help us to respect time a bit more and make better use of our time, all right? So just live life knowing that tomorrow or today could be your last. All right, so on that note, I want to say how much I appreciate you guys all the time. I look forward to seeing you each one of you here nightly. All right, Wendy, and everyone else, man, Shanta, and Charles, Kevin, Zaka, Juan, Sally, and everyone else, have yourselves a great evening. Folks, that's as far as I can go for tonight. Let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We all say, ja, no. Good night, everyone. Goodbye.